Okay, cool. Hi, I'm Sharon. Nice to meet you. That was a fun moment we just shared. Gay people here now, right now, 2024. Are we clapping because we are gay or because we're in support of it? I mean, you can be both, right? Okay, cool. Yes, I'm a queer lady. I came out as bi many years ago, and I told my dad, and my dad was like, "Don't you have a boyfriend?" And I was like, "Yep." And he was like, "Okay, he knows you like women?" And I was like, "Yep." And he was like, "He's just cool with the cheating thing?" And I was like, it's not how that works. An hour conversation on the phone, still couldn't grasp it. Been with the same man for 14 years. My dad still thinks I cheat on him, and he doesn't say anything. So my dad's not a narc. Probably has something to do with the fact he's celebrating sobriety from heroin. Pretty cool, right? It is cool, right? I basically came out of the womb saying, "Fuck bitches, get money." Just such a boss move. Yeah, I'm very proud of my dad for kicking a bad habit, right? It's not just a bad habit, you know? Not like he eats too many snacks. I just always thought it was so funny because my dad's like a fat man and he was never thin on drugs. And I was like, isn't that how are you still fat? You know? He always said, "Sharon, try to find a man like your father." And I was like, with that hard belly. You know what I'm talking about? The men who get the hard bellies from drinking too much and other things. You know, and you poke it and it doesn't move. And you're like, the fuck is happening here, sir? I do like fat men. Not the ones that look like my dad, thank God. Not the ones with cut off Harley Davidson t-shirts and motorcycles and guns. But apart from having a very long time partner, I'm also polyamorous. Hello. Are we any poly here, or we're just also snapping in support? Yes. Okay. You're like thinking about it. You're like in therapy discussing how to open a relationship. Are you? Oh shit. I did it too. It's cool. I can feel the heat coming off your cheeks, the front cheeks. Yes, I am polyamorous and queer. Like you thought I couldn't get any more annoying. Hello. And being poly for the last 4 years has been a really interesting experience. And I have like friends who are like, "Oh, now I can set you up with people who I think be good for you or whatever." And they always try to set me up with fat men, which is fine. We love fat men, but there's just something about like two puzzle pieces that look like they're supposed to fit. And then like they don't, you know, like you have to like, it's like you can't see any other pieces left in the box and you're like, this one has to be the one that finishes the picture and you're just smashing it and smooshing it in there. I actually hooked up with a plump fella recently and he did something that no man's ever done for me before, okay? Very shameless move. He was behind me and he was having a hard time getting in there, you know, because I got cake, he's got cake, right? And he lifted up his stomach and he placed it over my lower back so he could like really get in there. And the whole time I was like, oh my God, the bar has been set so low for me this whole time. Hello, Prince. Hello, Kid. Like, feels like a weighted blanket. Like, I was like, oh my God, stress relief in so many ways. Yes, I try to date women, but I have a hard time with it. Any gay women here have a hard time finding women to date? Is it really just me? Oh, fuck. That sucks. I'm attracted to women who look like goddesses, which is basically every woman in this room, and I'm attracted to men who look like they live stream on Twitch for income. Like their only source of income. Like they drink Mountain Dew unironically, you know? And they're like, "Oh, yeah, sorry, my apartment's a little messy," but like every time you go there, it's messy. You know? Like, what's going on, fella? Yes, and my first boyfriend was gay. I don't know if anyone else had that experience, but it's like a big reason I don't go to Pride. I used to try to go to Pride. Do we go to Pride? It's a lot, right? It's like all the gay men want to make out with me, and none of the straight women do, or well, always only straight women that go to Pride. I feel like they're always like, "I'm straight with the side of fun." And I'm like, okay, you have some stuff to work on and look inward. And I'm like, I just can't do high school again. Like I don't want to. Like the backstage of a play, making out with the boys who were not out yet. You know, that's a fun memory for me. Thank God I figured it out. I'm also fat. I'm going to talk about that a lot because I'm annoying, as we previously discussed. I will say fat with a hard F. I will. I love making people uncomfortable because it's dumb. Because fat men can be like, oh, I'm fat. And people are like, oh my God, Kevin James is here. Yay! I love you on King of Queens and no comment. And then like a fat woman says she's fat and everyone like holds their breath for a second because they're like, she knows. She can see. You know, people will come to me after shows and be like, you're not fat, you're beautiful. And I'm like, yeah, you can be both. It's totally fine. Apart from running that fun mic with Sam that she was talking about, I also host a podcast called Big Bitch Energy. So if you want to hear me talk more after this, you can for as long as you want. I won't judge. But yeah, my parents and like my family, my whole life, I've always been a thick bitch. Always had a little extra, and they'd always be like, Sharon, if you just lost a little weight, the boys would be waiting in line. And I'm like, that sounds terrifying. Who are these boys? Where did they come from? A line? My parents like, they're gonna beat down the door. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna stay fat, I think. Thanks, it's the origin of my anxiety. And I feel like dating in a fat body is interesting, right? I have single friends who talk about their horror stories with dating. It's rough in these streets for anybody. But like, I get men to this day who are still like, oh, I'm a chubby chaser. And I'm like, cool, I'm not running anywhere. Why did you think I was running? That's so flattering. You know, guys will be like, oh, don't worry, I fucked a fat woman before. And I'm like, yeah, it's not different. You know, it's not any different. I mean, I get on and mount like anyone else. You know, it might take me an extra second because of the knee, but that's also because of age. It's not even just because of weight, you know. I love the cat calls I get. They're really interesting. You'll get people who will lean out a car window and say, I bet you got a fat pussy. And I'm like, that's a common misconception. It's actually the tightest thing about me. The strongest muscle in my body, actually. Another fun one's potato, which isn't really a cat call. It's like more of an observation, right? But if I'm a potato, that means there's a word doesn't mean you can eat me. We're in the Midwest, babies. Split me open while I'm still hot, you know, fully load me, top me with cream, poke me with a fork. And then we're gonna get into kink stuff. I was out on a date at the end of summer when it was still nice out, and I was in a two-piece. And we were on a patio having a drink, and like just like being normal, existing, right? And like this car literally stopped, held up traffic to say, "Put that drink down, you fat slut!" And I was like, oh, "How did he know I was a slut?" That's this polyamory journey, and you know I gotta be a little more into wraps with it. People always ask me how I came to be interested in polyamory. I'll tell you what, I really like the fact. It's just statistically, my chances of getting murdered skyrocket. You know, they triple because I go on so many more dates with strangers. It's so fun. People question me all the time. They're like, are you sure you're not like selling yourself short? Are you just like settling? Are you just like staying in this relationship because it's comfortable, but then like other relationships fill the gaps where you're missing stuff? Like, are you sure you don't, like, you love yourself, right? And I'm like, yeah, bitch, I love myself so much. I make sure I get fucked. No matter what, self-care, okay, is orgasming for me. It might not be that way for you, but I have a rotation, okay? I feel like I love myself more than I ever did in my entire life because of that fact. You know, people will be like, polyamory never really works. And I'm like, yeah, name one monogamous relationship that worked. Most of the people that say that have already been in like their second divorce. I'm not judging it, but like, don't judge me, you know? People will be like, oh, you're trying to like have your cake and eat it too. And I'm like, yeah, have you ever fucking had cake? It's so good. Why would I have cake and not eat it or share it with other people? Where did that saying come from? It's so dumb. You know, and people find out that me and my partner who were monogamous before are poly now, and they're like, oh, which one of you cries yourself to sleep at night? And I'm like, both of us. It's because of that, all right? It's a scary world we're living in, Trish, all right? It's so bad out here. And the cool thing is like, okay, a friend of mine said something really fucked up. I don't think she meant to say it like this, but she was like, well, you're really lucky to be with the same guy for so long who lets you do this. I'm like, lets me? The same bitch said that he lets me eat whatever I want. And I was like, if anyone tries to restrict what you eat, you should eat that, you know? He doesn't let me do anything. I will say he is also super supportive. Like, he's never wanted to change my body, but I've been trying to lose weight this last year for reasons and stuff. And, you know, and everyone has the same notion. They're like, oh, you're just trying to look better, feel better, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that might be true, but I do sit on a lot of faces now. And, you know, all those faces have sleep apnea. Yeah. And they, like, didn't have sleep apnea before, you know? And, like, I knew it because I would sleep next to them, and they could breathe, and now they can't breathe. Have you ever felt someone struggle to breathe underneath you? Come on. Like, really struggle to breathe underneath you? Like, they're just, like, gasping for air, and you're like, oh, wow, that's feminism! And if you want to be an ally to women, don't talk about their weight, and learn how to hold your breath. Thank you!